Morning YouTube. Quick update video from summer of 2022 with the 91 Dakota. Just to bring everybody up to speed, we did swap about a year ago the motor out, put a 418 stroker kit in it, had a transmission built up by A&A Transmissions, Dave Allison. Transmission's fantastic. Took the truck to the track, made about 10 passes. We were putting down some awesome times, cutting some really good lights, some 03s, some 04s in competition, but we ultimately had to pull out of the competition because we heard some metal on metal. And of course, anytime that happens, it's not worth the risk. Long story short, what ended up happening was 3 out of the 4 Flexplate bolts on our 904 transmission had come loose. After investigation, we kind of figured out what was going on. The Hughes converter down here, as you can see, I can't turn it over because I'm holding the phone, but one of the bolts was actually bottoming out. You can see etching in the bottom of that bolt from that 5/16. From that 5/16 bolt, you can see some etching, so it wasn't seating. And I think that combined with the fact that we were actually using a flex plate that has 7/16 holes in it with the 5/16 bolt, maybe just provided a little bit too much room for that to float under duress when that bolt wasn't all the way seated. And of course, that formed the impetus for the other 3 out of 4 to come loose. And it's no fun climbing under your truck when you're trying to compete and torquing down those bolts to spec around the hot exhaust. So we need to fix it. So we yanked out the transmission, right? It's sitting there. I think what I'm going to do now that the transmission's out is I'm going to acquire a new Hughes HD unit, a heavy duty unit. You can get the same 2700 to 35 stall converter that's actually drilled out for the 7/16 bolts instead of the 5/16 bolts. So I think that'll allow me to torque this down to about, I think, 72 or 74 foot-pounds instead of 20 foot-pounds on those 5/16 bolts. So I hope that fixes the problem and that we don't ultimately have any kind of driveline vibration that's causing those bolts to come loose. That would be worst case scenario to try to track down and fix. But that's the update. We're going to get this all put back together and head out to the track again and see if we can't put down some good times. 60 foot on this truck was hitting about 157.8 or something like that. So it is putting down some really fast times. The 1-2 shift is just awesome in terms of the torque. I won't say what it does in the quarter, but maybe we'll see you all out there at the track sometime. Anyway, guys, that's the update. I think what else is going on? Oh, this is kind of neat. We did put in the truck a vintage kind of a what do you call that? The vintage kind of steering wheels, the tough wheel from Mopar. I'm not going to even begin to describe for you how difficult it was to actually get that in this truck because the splines don't line up from a traditional Dakota to the older style Mopar. So we had to cut that out, weld it into one of the older Duster Dart style bodies, and then put it all back into the truck. But it looks pretty cool. It's functional. What else we got going on? Well, I got another 360 block over here that we're looking at building up. So this is pretty much a virgin 360 block, and it's probably going to involve nitrous. We're just not 100% sure whether we're going to do something with a Pro Charger or stroke that motor too, but it keeps us busy. Here is just a snapshot of the truck. So here you have a 1971 340. It's got a stroker kit in it, out to 418 inches. We have Edelbrock heads that have had the Hughes engines super prep done to them, right? A little bit of airflow. I think they flow from 100 to 450. It's kind of a fat flow kind of a head. So it gets up to, according to Hughes, 257 CFM at about 450, but it tops out there. So obviously a set of fully CNC heads would probably do the truck a lot of good. And we actually have picked up a set of trick flows that we're going to be swapping onto this. I know they're supposed to flow, somewhere north of 300 at 550 or somewhere around there, but it's going to flow a lot more and give us a little more breathing room for this truck to come to its full potential. So anyway, I'll touch base with you when we are back installing that transmission in the truck and we get those heads in from trick flow. So, well, see you out on the track. Everybody have a good day.